Greetings, this is Gremlin, and I am still due some information about sustain and about weapon setups for dual wielding. I will start with the sustain and talk a bit about... I will cover every sustain stat, but of course I will focus on life on hit and lifesteal at the end. So, I will give you a short run through the life or sustain stats you can get. It's life after kill, health glow bonus, life regeneration, life on hit, and lifesteal. Life after kill and health glow bonus is quite outdated. It was a very nice option soon after Diablo was released, because life on hit was very expensive. And lifesteal, well, too few people really tested it out, and too few people really had the DPS then to really make it work. So yeah, back then life after kill really helped you on trash, and health glow bonus helped you on elites, because elites have a very high chance to drop a health glow when they die, and even at certain percentage markers, the champions, I think every 25% they have a chance to drop a health glow. So yeah, that really got you sorted, and you could get a lot more DPS then, because you didn't have to pay the prices for life on hit. And so at the end that really worked out better than going with life on hit back then. Today it's a different story, because life on hit and lifesteal is considerably cheap enough, and yeah, so it's basically up to life on hit and lifesteal. And well, the life regeneration is a very nice stat, for example on the wild wards and the blackthorn belt and various other slots. You can get life per second on kinda every slot apart from the weapons, so if you can get it, grab it along the way, but you shouldn't go out of the way to really get it. It's a nice stat to have. It really eases up your life, and especially when you're crowd controlled, of course. But don't go out of your way to get it. At least on PvE. It might be another story on PvP. That might be ace and worth to get, but well, this guide is about PvE for now. I might add some PvP parts later on when it's released. So that being said, life on hit, life per second I mean, sorry, nice stat to have, don't go out of your way to get it. So it's between life on hit and lifesteal at the end. Most people know that lifesteal just outperforms life on hit at a certain point. For most people it's just about when exactly is the point when lifesteal outperforms life on hit. This is a very individual thing, because you would need to know your effective DPS to really calculate when lifesteal will be better for you. Most people say it's about 100k pay by DPS. You can agree on that or disagree. I personally disagree, and I will give you an example later on. For now I will just give you some pointers. If you go with life on hit alone, I would suggest to only go up to MP5 with life on hit alone, because after that the incoming damage is quite big, and you have to really overachieve on life on hit to outperform that, or to get quite tanky, or to get very high DPS to kill quick enough to sustain from life on hit there. So at MP0 get around 250 to 300 life on hit, and after that just add another for every monster power you go up. So for example, monster power 1, get 500 to 600 life on hit around roughly, and at MP5 around 1.5 to 1.8k life on hit. That should get you sorted for farming quite nice. It might be another story for the Ubers, but for normal farming that should be fine. At least if your resistance and armor is at least somewhat proper. So that's about the life on hit. When you go up in monster powers, I would suggest to get at least or to get lifesteal at least on one weapon. Try to get at least 2.5%. So when you add lifesteal to your setup, you can reduce your life on hit. You should try to maintain at least, if you go for a combination, 2.5% life and around 700 life on hit. That should kinda get you sorted if you got the DPS to go MP6 and higher. So as your DPS goes up, you can reduce the life on hit then up to the point where you reach roughly 150k DPS. That's somewhat the turning point when lifesteal on one weapon is enough to sustain you fine, even on very high or on MP10. If your resistant armor is accordingly. It doesn't need to be super. Around 700 resist and 5k armor is very well enough. So yeah, that's around the rough markers. Okay then, let's compare life on hit and life steal. I decided to give you an example with an Excel sheet. Don't turn off. This Excel sheet doesn't bite. It just makes it less complicated, as if I just hit you with a wall of blah blah, and so you have something to keep track of. If I just tell you without giving some figures or numbers, it's hard to really follow me. To keep it simple, I will just assume we have solo target encounters like killing Gome, and we just get our sustain on only one stat. Let's just say on a one-hand weapon. Life on hit and life steal are two different concepts, so I need to create a similar basis to really compare them. I chose life per second. With life on hit, that's easy to translate. You kinda just multiply the amount of life on hit you have with the attacks per second you got, and you have your life per second in a sense. If you want to be nitpicky, you could say every swivel generator has a different coefficient for life on hit procs, but let's just assume it's a one-on-one translation and there's no other coefficient. So that just makes it easy. So yeah, attacks per second multiplied by the amount of life on hit you have, and you have your life per second from your life on hit. With the lifesteal, it's a bit more complicated because you need your effective DPS to really determine how much healing you get out of your lifesteal. So I will just give you a short explain what the sheet is about here. Here, the first column, is it a column? Yeah, that's a row column, okay. The first column is the paper DPS that appears on your char screen. The second is the effective DPS you really dish out on a solo target. It's a bit hard to calculate that because it depends on many factors. As a rough pointer, you could say you should have at least 6 times your paper DPS as effective DPS if you play with the cookie cutter build and perform somewhat proper with playing the cookie cutter build. It scales up better in higher gear levels, but well, at least 6 times. So with 30k paper DPS from my example here, you should have at least 180k DPS. I will change this. This is just the column for the attacks per second. I will change that as I explain. This is the amount of lifesteal I assume we have on the one-hand weapon, and this is then the calculated life per second from the lifesteal. If you don't know it, you don't get the full amount of lifesteal in Inferno. In Inferno you only get 1/5, so you have to divide your lifesteal by 5. That would be 0.5 in this example, and so you have 0.5% of 180k. That's 900. So this is the column that states what kind of life per second we get from our lifesteal there. And this is just the column that says how much life on hit we would need with our attacks per second to perform similar. So if I have just 1 attack per second, I would of course need 900 life on hit to get 900 life per second. So if I just increase that by 2 or 2, then yeah, you would need to have 450. 2 attacks per second is not too easy to get, at least not if you're on a lower budget. But yeah, let's just assume we just have at least 2 attacks per second. This is very proper already. As you can see with 30k DPS, life on hit is superior. You can get 450 life on hit on a one-hand weapon quite easy. But let's just say we upgrade our gear up to 50k DPS and stay with the 2 attacks per second and 2.5% lifesteal. So we get, or should get at least 300k effective DPS. This will result in 1.5k life per second from the lifesteal. And to perform similar with a one-hand weapon with life on hit, you would need 750 life on hit. So we are on somewhat even terms already, because 2.5% lifesteal and 750 life on hit are close to the maximum rolls you can get on a one-hand weapon. It would be 3% for lifesteal and 1k for life on hit. As you can see, with 50k DPS we are already on somewhat even terms. And if we upgrade to let's say 75k DPS, we already cross the border that is it's not possible to get plus 1k life on hit on a one-hand weapon. It would be impossible with 2 attacks per second to outperform the lifesteal here already. You would need to get no. So with 2.5 attacks per second, it would be able to outperform or to perform similar as the 2.5% lifesteal. But yeah, 2.5 attacks per second is not easy to get. That's well already the example. Then let's say we go up to our 100k DPS. This is way above what you can get on a one-hand weapon. As you can see, at around 50k paper DPS, we already are on even terms with lifesteal and life on hit. So it's safe to say you can just switch to lifesteal with around 50k DPS. In my opinion, you can just skip life on hit at all. If you stay on lower MPs and have lower DPS and use lifesteal, you get less effect than you could get with life on hit maybe. But on the other hand, you don't get that much damage on lower MPs, so you don't need that much life on hit or sustain to really survive there. So I hope I was able to convey the picture here with my Excel sheet there.